Hello and welcome here again live to the World Crypto Network. Guys, this is going to be a fun show. We are introducing a project that I've been working on since quite some time. And this is, of course, my paper, my part of my bachelor thesis on the topic of anarchy in money and why we probably neither need nor want government intervention in Bitcoin. Because this is going to be a culmination of several years of research that I have done on both the topic of Austrian economics and especially the Austrian monetary theory, but then, of course, also Bitcoin, because it is just such a beautiful currency, isn't it? And you all know that I do love my Austrian economics, and I do quite also love my precious Bitcoin. So this is going to be a fun ride. I've thoroughly enjoyed writing it so far, and thinking about this topic for a long time now. And of course, I got into economics when I was really young. I read like Keynesian nonsense. I started with general theory when I was like 13, 14. Horrible. I thought I was either too stupid to get it or that the economics was bullshit. Turned out probably I'm still quite stupid, but absolutely that economics is just nonsense. It doesn't make sense whatsoever. I mean, it is true in the short run. Yes, you can somehow manage the economy, but the universe just does not want to be ruled. There is no authority over natural law. And this is something that is inherently true in all aspects of life, and absolutely it is true in economics. And that is something that Austrian economics teaches you, which is the age-old tradition that goes back to the School of Salamanca, that goes back to classical liberalism, the Jeffersonians, the Lockeans, the Lysander Spooners. These were all pioneers of libertarian theory and also libertarian economic theory. And contract theory and social theory and of course philosophy. This is nothing new. This is nothing that was invented by something novel as Bitcoin. This is nothing new to that sense. It has been going on for quite some time. And of course, then in the more recent age, you had then a prevalence of economists talking about how a libre, how a free society could work, and not just in a philosophical sense, but also in an economic sense. So why is it that free individuals somehow manage to make something beautiful, something delightful, to make this world just a little bit more prosperous? And that is the study of Austrian economics. How do we as sovereign individuals interact with each other in a way that not just one benefits, not just a few benefit, but all benefit without exception? And that is something that might sound utopian, but I believe it can actually be achieved. And my opinion, the solution to this is, well, Austrian economics. It's the free market, it's liberty. And of course, in a monetary sense, it is Bitcoin. Because I do see a lot of big problems in the incumbent banking system. I did enjoy quite a nice research upbringing with, as I said, a lot of Keynesian mainstream economics in my early days, and really getting in-depth knowledge in this. And of course, later now, since 2016, also working at Deutsche Bank. Plus studying incumbent banking, incumbent finance, Keynesian theory in depth, both in university and practically applying it in real life, so to say, at the bank, and really experiencing how such a system works from the inside. And so you might know me probably with critical eyes, and I was watching carefully from the get-go. This was a learning experience. And I quite treasured this experience because I did learn a lot. And I do not really want to critique this old system in a, let's say, in a aggressive way. I more rather want to propose another system. I want to maybe show a exit sign, a possibility that there is an alternative. There are choices, and these choices matter. And once people really enact on these choices and live what their philosophy is yearning for, which in my opinion is liberty, then using a libre currency such as Bitcoin is a beautiful way of not just fixing the economy, but also fixing cultural misalignments and then fixing the mindset of a fiat culture, which, as many people have pointed out, is quite drastic. What fiat money does to a society on the long run. And I do believe that many of the also social conflicts that we see drive from a consumerism culture, from a culture that is focused on consuming nonstop, on not postponing gratification, on not hodling, right? Without a sound money, without a reference point, there is no saving for the future. There is only consuming in the present, which of course is devastating for the future. And we humans strive to accumulate capital. We want to accumulate wealth and see where and how we can make this place delightful. And I do think this is a goal striving for. So that is basically why I decided to write part of my bachelor thesis on this topic of anarchy in money. And what this is all about. Because yes, this title might sound edgy, this title might sound clickbaity, but it's not. It really isn't. This is something that is well thought out. Anarchy and liberty is nothing new. And a lot has been written, a lot has been said by much greater minds than mine. So I'm not saying that this will be fundamental breakthrough through work. But what I would much rather just like to do is take these old traditions, take these liberal philosophies, these ancient natural law philosophies, and apply them to the current technology, to the current state of being, and to apply it to Bitcoin. Because in my opinion, Bitcoin is fundamentally so strong, so incredibly strong, because it is based on liberty, because it treasures individual sovereignty. And combining all this together in this paper is, in my opinion, quite a useful contribution to the space. And that's what I want to provide, just kicking off ideas. Ideas are powerful. They really, really are. And ideas can be, of course, misused. But they can also be used for a good purpose, and a purpose that is based on fundamental beliefs. So as Mises said, that ideas are powerful because they morph and they don't stay the same, but they can be shared. And because they are shared, they take on a unique spin with each individual, and everyone can combine all his information and understand it in this unique fashion that only he can, and then contributing his newly morphed ideas. That is something that is possible by each individual, and seeing that possibility is beautiful. It's like scars in a tree. It forever grows, but still changes. So it's quite powerful what ideas can do, and thus absolutely this paper is written under the Creative Commons license or the GNU license, absolutely, because these ideas are not mine. I do not claim any ownership, any property of these ideas. That's fallacious. I combine the knowledge of giants that walk before me, and I stand on their shoulders, quite literally. And all these ideas are not unique and not new. They are just adapted. And that's why I want to share them as openly, as freely as possible. And that's why from day one, I published this on a open platform. I hosted it back then on Google Docs. Now I moved it to GitHub. But we're going to get into that later. But I want to be this a collaborative effort. And I've talked to many people about this, and I try to get many different viewpoints and just accumulate different ideas and put this all into one paper. So that is what this is all about. And this is, of course, why it is open source. So I really, really want to reach out to you and ask you for your support in finishing this up and continuing writing this paper and continuing this idea, continuing this theory of thought, which of course Bitcoin also is. Yes, it is a currency, it is a technology, but it is also an idea, and it is a theory. We do not know how this will play out. And we do need fundamental principles in our understanding and in our theory and how to reach this understanding. And well, that's just what this will be about. Guess what? This will not talk much about the price. This is not going to be predictions or anything. This is fundamentally what it is all about. And of course, price is also important in some senses, but let's minimize the buzzwordiness. This will not be a buzzword bingo. Okay, let's make sure that this is actual high quality content. We will talk about blockchain briefly. I don't want to mention that stuff because it's buzzwordy and everyone knows that it's bullshit, and do a bit of research and you understand why. But this will focus, of course, on other stuffs like forks and so on. So I would say just let's get into it on how this paper will be set up. So first of all, you can go to my website here, towardsliberty.com, which is like my hub for all this stuff. And right here in Anarchy and Money, you have a link to the GitHub, which is here at github.com/hillebrandmax/anarchy-in-money. Or just Google it, you'll find it somehow. It's also in the link in the description. And let me post it in the chat one more time. By the way, I will read through the chat right after. So bear with me for a couple more seconds, and I'll get to you all. Thanks for participating, guys, in the chat. Thanks for hitting the like. That's amazing. And so, first of all, GitHub. So I'm using the ASCII doc, which is a quite nice writing tool in GitHub. I like it. And let's first get into the README. So, of course, anarchy and money, right? Why we neither need nor want government intervention in Bitcoin. And this paper will, analyze all that which I said. How the free market and voluntary interaction can play out in such a open source libre money, of course, using the economics and the philosophy of Bitcoin and the history as well, because this is quite important. Of course, Austrian School of Economics. And so that this paper is due in December 2018. So early December, we still got 79 days, as you can see on this amazing tally count feature, which I actually really like. So we still have a couple days to finish this up. And I already have a bit done, but at this point, I just want to say this. All this in here is really, really, really first steps. Still only chalking ideas down, still really rudimentary. And this is something that I do want and do need really critical feedback. So please don't, no bullshit. I really want to have something that is of value here. And I hope we can provide that. So, for example, right there, I think to start off with something like this, it's the free exchange and interventionism, which talks about why we do trade, why it is useful, and why free exchange is so preferable and mutual beneficial on both sides, and of course then why intervening in such a free and voluntary interaction where everyone benefits, per definition, will always mean that some are benefiting at the expense of others. So that is, of course, something that not optimal, so to say. And the cool thing about, of course, free exchange is that because it is mutual beneficial, not just is it morally a correct way of doing this, but it's also economically a good way of organizing society. What else is there to say? Oh yeah, there are three different types of intervention. Rothbard really goes into this. First is autistic intervention, which is, for example, that the government tells you not to consume something like alcohol or marijuana, where they prohibit your use of your own property without any other person involved. Binary intervention, on the other hand, is if one party coercively or forcefully, aggressively extracts wealth from one person and gives it to himself. So this would be here taxation, for example, or slavery. Some might argue even further inflation. So this is a form of binary intervention. And then last, triangular intervention, which is a state forcing two individuals to engage in trade, which the rules were set by the state, and the two parties are forced to interact. So those are registrations, license, forced contract, covenants, and stuff like that. So those are the three fundamental forms of interventionism and how they actually hurt the economy. It's important, right? Because that's, of course, what Bitcoin is all about. Then this is probably the main piece and quite the longest one on money supply and inflation. And again, here this is the core of Austrian monetary theory and business cycle theory. Important stuff. So this will be quite long and many subchapters and much more references to provide and everything. Oh yeah, by the way, references are really welcome. If you have any books to recommend, that would be fantastic. Of course, I got here the library on Austrian economics books, which really helped me. There are a bunch of books here that I thoroughly enjoyed reading, and I can recommend each and every single one of these. That's why they are on this website. Cool things is it's not just economics, it's also Bitcoin. Go through these. I really think that they will provide a huge amount of value to you. They absolutely did for me. And of course, also the Bitcoin library, which is, still needs a lot of updating, still a lot of stuff that is worth sharing. It's just a cool website with a lot of stuff. So if you have further stuff to recommend, please do so. That would be fantastic. Thank you very much. And of course, every time you have quotes and every time you provide something, you will get, of course, full credit and full respect for this. And maybe, and that's why this fundraiser is up, here showing this address, 34ZDV and so on, with a timer for 79 days, which will be December the 4th. And this is when the paper is due. These funds might be used to, give kind of bounties, thank contributors and give donations to those that really have taught me a lot. For example, maybe a couple donations to the Mises Institute, which I would love to support. Mises.org is one of the best websites, one of the best libraries out there with immense amounts of research. By the way, pretty much all the stuff here in Austrian economics, all this stuff links to Mises.org. Why not? Okay, so what is this money supply all about? Here, I kind of, at this first stage, I'm always comparing fiat money to gold and then ultimately to Bitcoin. And that's pretty much a structure that I go through here. I do not know if I actually want to include this fiat stuff, because in my opinion, fiat is boring. So I might just focus here on Bitcoin and how Bitcoin works and why it is good. But I like to critique this stuff, so critiquing in it might be nice. I don't know. Let's see. Of course, here the bit in the history, and how Bitcoin actually are defined by, right? The total amount of satoshis in UTXO and the blockchain, and having definitions like this set out is important. So again, here I need community feedback on that. And the importance of every node is verifying and enforcing the consensus rules. Actually, another chapter is coming in here. And here talking about an increase in the money supply. So how this all works out. Going in depth into Kantian effects and how they work out, how they redistribute wealth. And oh yeah, this is the example of Kantian effects. When a change in money relations causes price rise, the man who's selling price rise before his buying price gains, and the man whose buying price rises first loses. The other who gains the most from the transition period is the one whose selling price rises first and buying price last. Conversely, when prices fall, the man whose buying price falls before his selling price gains, and the man whose selling price falls before his buying price loses. So this is Man, Economy, and State, Rothbard, and like so much knowledge in this one sentence. Oh, fucked up here on the on the reference. I'll have to fix that. What else? How the 21 million how the difficulty adjustment works out, which is quite a really nice feature. And then here talking about, of course, malinvestments. And on the other hand, overconsumption. And how this will play out in Bitcoin. And here I propose my concerns for here the overconsumption with stuff like Satoshi dies, or with the malinvestments with hyper-exponential growth in the accumulated proof of work. I want to expand a bit more on this, but just that it's in there. And the difficulty adjustment, again, how beautiful it is, and talking about the stock to flow ratio from Seifedin, and of course finishing up with a quote from Seifedin, because again, his book is amazing. Must read literature in this space. It really is. By the way, contributions to this address might also go to Seifedin Amus. I'm talking might, they will. He really deserves a lot of praise, a lot of credit for this. So if you want to support him, this stuff goes directly to him. Partially of it. I want to support all the people that have contributed to this paper. Okay, this is going to be a really interesting one. Gresham's law, really in its early stages here, dividing between Gresham's law and the speculative attack, which they are quite linked. On the free market, goods are always traded according to the individual valuation, and of course, this individual valuation will be according to the true inner contents of, for example, a gold coin. And so if it contains 0.09 gold ounces, then, well, it's valued at 0.9 gold ounces, not more, not less, right? But then government introduces legal tender laws, and that, as always, messes things up and makes stuff really complicated. And we're going to dive deep into this. And Gresham's law says that money overvalued artificially by government, artificially is important, will drive out circulation artificially undervalued money. Thus, there is nothing less fit to be left to the action of a competition than money. So absolutely, we need competition in money. So this is really important. Then the speculative attack basically explains Bitcoin hybridization. And I do want to expand much on this. Really expand how Bitcoin will absolutely crush fiat monies, and quite interesting how this will work out. Like that, but again, needs much more expanding. True Pro, what's up? How are you doing, my man? Okay, what else do we have? Oh yeah, this is a good one. Wider on a full node. I really like this. It's actually something that I published in the intranets of Deutsche Bank, where I try to spread the word of liberty in Bitcoin, and quite cool stuff which I publish there. And of course, as always, it's not just published on the intranet. Okay, so why to run a full node? It's quite simple. Bitcoin is about individual sovereignty. It's about electronic peer-to-peer cash system, and the peer-to-peer is important. Individuals have full control over the system, and they do not delegate power to any centralized party. Right? It's don't trust, it's verify. You can run a full node on any piece of computer. Right? I, of course, recommend the Raspberry Pi. I actually will link here directly to a tutorial on how to set it up, which is really important. I might actually do a video on this because I will upgrade my Bitcoin full node to version 17 or 0.017. talking, of course, that it's 100% open source, and that way you have complete control over the software. Not ownership, but control, without asking for permission. Just like you have complete permissionless innovation over this GitHub. You can pull anything and do any pull request that you want. If it's good, it will be merged. Anyone can see and verify this code. Independent parties, right? Make sure no bugs. That's why open source is so powerful. You set the rules when you actually, when you download this Bitcoin Core client. You can change anything. You can change the number of Bitcoin in existence, like Litecoin did. You can change the proof of work. You can change any routing consensus. Or take away control over another UTXO and give yourself the control of this UTXO. There are really no restriction of the consensus rules that you could change. And especially because you have so much liberty, because you can do so much, there is so much competition. But nevertheless, there is this Schelling point of having the same rules. But regardless, if someone breaks these rules, you verify if there is an aggressor. And you will kick the aggressor out. This is a network good. The more you use it, the more powerful it becomes. And only with a full node can you set these own rules, verify them, and enforce them. This is something that's so important. The user is the king over his money. He is the sovereign over his money, and nobody can take this away from anyone. This is the beauty. It is anarchy. I really want to expand on this. Why to run a full node? This is so important. This is everything in Bitcoin. Run a full node, own your own keys. Both. Not just own your own keys. Run a node. Get a Raspberry Pi. So what else is really nice? Bitcoin, not blockchain. Oh, we need that. Trust me, guys, we need that. That is something that, again, from the internet. Wow, the Bitcoin, not blockchain. We need this. The blockchain hype is still strong. You might not realize it, but it is. It's the buzzword bingo. It's going on. Same with e-commerce, social networks, artificial intelligence, machine learning, Internet of Things, machine-to-machine communication. But absolutely it is with blockchain and decentralization. A lot of buzzword, a lot of hype. Bitcoin only works because of its unique circumstances of its creation and the combination of all those vital theories, which are cutting-edge fields: cryptography, decentralized network topology, open source development, game theory, incentive structure, Austrian economics, and monetary theory. All of this comes together. Might actually add the philosophical side of that to this as well. Blockchain is not a cure-all. It's an inefficient database, right? No intrinsic token. Blockchain doesn't make any sense. I actually here dissect the title of the white paper, peer-to-peer electronic cash system, and tell what peer-to-peer means, right? Individuals own it. Electronic, which means you're going into non-scarce goods and scarce goods, and how this is important. By the way, this has an entire separate chapter, which is quite long as well. And then cash, which it is, of course, the base money, which means that it is not a debt money. It is not a money certificate, but actual base money. So really important here. It's not about blockchain. It really isn't. If it's centrally controlled, it handles intrinsic value, and if it is not money, then there are countless other more efficient data structures that you can use. Not everything has to be put on a blockchain. It doesn't solve many problems, but rather it increases countless frictions and introduces big costs. In Bitcoin, these costs are inefficiency are justified because only this way can censorship resistance be reached. So yeah, it's Bitcoin, guys. It's not blockchain. Oh, I see that really here. There's one missing. Still have to update one. And what else? Forks and altcoins. I just started writing this one. Why forks are copies, why they are not the true, why they're not the original Schelling point, why they are, per definition, always more centralized, why hard forks are an attack on consensus, and yeah, how hard forks had played out, and the different ways of forks, hard forks, soft forks, how you can upgrade the system, why unchangeability is so important of consensus. So absolutely, this is going to be also a good one. Yeah, and then we have one more. Let me maybe pull that up from the Google Drive then. I have not yet opened that up, I guess. Where is it? Scarce and non-scarce goods. Yes, this is also a beauty. Really diving deep into what scarce good. Oh, a lot. Yeah, 4 pages, 5 pages already. I still could expand on that. The difference between scarcity and non-scarcity, and where the fundamental difference is. Scarce good is a mud pie. There can be conflict over who owns and controls it, and therefore we have to have prices in the market to allocate these scarce resources. Scarcity is thus defined by the possibility of a rising conflict over the true owner and manager of a finite thing. A finite thing. It applies to anything and everything that cannot be simultaneously owned. For example, one's ownership and control excludes others. And non-scarce goods, of course, then do not exclude others, like ideas, like information, like code. And these are all non-scarce goods that are, for example, a loaf of bread. But here, a loaf of bread that once you give it away, another exact copy would appear in its stead. So the very act of giving it away would create a copy. With such a replicate loaf of bread, a free good, a non-scarce good, there will never be conflict of ownership, as anyone in need can receive the bread without taking it away from someone else. This is the definition of a non-scarce good. Of course, doesn't make sense with a loaf of bread, but makes sense with digital goods, with laser printers and 3D printers. The recipes, right? That's what they fundamentally are. PDF documents, MP3 music files, JPEG pictures. These are all can be copied ad infinitum with zero costs without taking it away from the original quote-unquote owner, creator. So property rights do not apply to scarce goods, right? This is so important to understand. All this intellectual property bullshit does not apply. It is wrong, fundamentally wrong in many senses. We really have to dig deep here. By the way, Stefan Kinsella, I wrote this stuff like half a year ago. Probably not that much, but no, finally got a chance to talk to him. So he's looking over this as well. And thank you for your contribution, Stefan. Really helped me a lot with both your libertarian theory of contract and against intellectual property. Of course, government enforced intellectual property rights. That's where we dig deep. It's bullshit, in every single sense. So what else is in here? God, I wrote a lot about that. Really messes with me. I don't like intellectual property whatsoever. There is no original thinker. As I said, we all stand on the shoulders of giants. Absolutely. Yes. If someone stole your idea, the thugs literally steal his property on the basis that some other person had a thought before of him. This regulation not only hinders the general advancement of society through the artificial scarcity of a free and limitless good, artificial scarcity, that's a scary concept here, but further breaks the natural law inherent in creation. Intellectual property is thus neither economically sound nor morally righteous. Yep, it's shit. Really cypherpunks. Yep, moral fallacious of intellectual property does open source everything, right? The freedom of speech and expression. Privacy, also important. Code of speech, open source code. Everything should be open source, including this paper. Absolutely. So yeah. For this, yeah, exactly. The user should have full control and trust in the hard-end software that he's running. Actually, might change this to verify. Trust is the wrong word here. That's what I'm saying, man. This stuff needs still improvement. Closed source system, there's no possibility of a user to check the software and what it is actually doing. So he has to blindly trust in intransparent developers, which sucks. So we need to be transparent. We need to be US Fed holds countless patents. It's BS. Bitcoin, extremely and relentlessly open source. You can see anything and everything, right? Don't trust, verify. Users have full control over their software. Consensus sensitive, right? This means that the individual node need to run the majority of the network with the same consensus rules. A full node does authoritatively verify every single transaction on block. This is so important, verification, right? So yeah. Oh yeah, and open source does, we need this to constrain monetary policy. We need this to verify what the monetary policy is, right? Without open source code, we would not know how many Bitcoin will be in existence. And if the developers had power to change that. So open source is so important in a money. We want to have as transparent money as possible. Again, that is not transparent. EZB, not transparent. So yeah, guys, I think that is basically it. This is what this paper is all about. Anarchy in money. I think it's quite nice. I like it. I enjoyed working on it so far, absolutely. And this is something that just so fascinating. I love this topic. I love Bitcoin. It is a beautiful subject, something that really is of so much value. And not only is it so intellectually challenging and stimulating, but it is also on a path towards liberty, right? We are fighting towards liberty here. We are freedom fighters in this regard, revolutionaries, so to say. And this is both scary and beautiful. And we need to have, original content and applying all these old, quote unquote, theories to this new world. So I'm absolutely looking forward to this, guys. This is going to be a nice one. So let's go through these comments. Corey, nice to see you in the chat. Thanks for setting up all these podcasts. You're amazing. Thanks for what you're doing to this network. Love it. He was getting bored. That's nice. Talking about self-governance, exactly. Keynesianism is nonsense. I agree with you. They don't believe in reason. XRP, nonsense token. What else? Bancor. Oh, colleague of mine at Deutsche Bank wants to talk about Bancor with me. I heard that they got hacked in July. Lots worth and value. That's true. You're loving the stream. Thank you. Mahoku. Nice. Thank you, Corey. You're great as well. Future superstar. I don't think so. But thank you. Thank you very much. All economic theories miss the mark. The first assume money is the only incentive to get people to do anything. I completely disagree. Corey, I absolutely disagree with you as well. Absolutely. Money is absolutely not the only thing that drives you. Of course not. Money is like money is something that like incentivizes you to do stuff that you otherwise would not have done. The things that you really want to do, you do not need to be paid for. So, this is something, education, for example, education in Bitcoin and economics. I've not received a penny for that. Well, I have now, thanks to amazing fundraisers, which most of this money will be reinvested into future content and future education. And I thank you very much for this, but I don't do it for it. This is gonna buy some stuff that is gonna be nice, but it doesn't have to be, right? I do it because it is intellectually stimulating, and that is true for many others in the space. By the way, right, if you want to support these others as well, this is the place to do it. Local celeb in this new Bitcoin world. Well, that's the thing. We no longer live local, right? We live in cyberspace, and that's why we can have these bubble niche, societies and collections of people like Rico here, like Corey, that just want to work on this stuff. So that's cool. Corey continues saying that people want resources, not money. Agreed. Money is representative resource. If you're born on the planet Earth, you have a fundamental right to the actual resource it provides. And good what you point out here, that money represents resources. You cannot consume money. You cannot produce something with money. You can only use it in voluntary and free exchange, to exchange it for a consumption or production good. And the production good, of course, you will then further utilize, intermingling it with your own human ingenuity and labor, and with other resources to eventually create a consumer good, which you then can consume. But ultimately, we want to consume, right? We need gratification of our needs. We have needs that we need to consume meat or meals. We need to consume food, and we need to drink water, and we need shelter, and all this stuff, of course, going further then, is something that we need to provide for. So we cannot eat a gold coin. We cannot eat a Bitcoin. Well, maybe if it's a paper wallet. Maybe to get an autograph. Well, Rico, we're gonna see each other in Riga really soon. So can get a tattoo. Since it's open sourced, then we kind of all played a part in writing. Absolutely, you all did, and that's why I really would like to dedicate all this work and reference all you guys that have advanced my understanding of the subject, and put all these great resources in here, because this is what this should be. This should be like this many resources. I really want this paper to lead people down the rabbit hole and give them good stuff. No noise, no bullshit, no buzzwordy stuff, but actual real and good high quality content that they can use in their everyday life, and in their search towards liberty. Proof of burn of fiat. Well, proof of burn is, I don't know. I mean, you decrease the money supply. It's deflationary, of course. Kind of makes sense, but it really, monetary theory is interesting. You can play with it a lot now that we have competition. Curious how all these different things will work out. To secure a blockchain, proof of burn, I don't think it'll work. Proof of work works. And so far, we don't really have proof that a proof of stake or any of these other, funny algorithms actually sustain a valuable network such as Bitcoin. So interesting. Bought the book Great Red, actually necessary to read, understand as to why we need to have Bitcoin right now. And it's important now more than ever. I think you're talking about the Bitcoin standard. Absolutely. This is going to be like the #1 reference. And a lot of quotes by Saifedean as well. What's up, Max? Glad to see you on. Glad to see you in the chat today. To poo. Saifedean is clear, and he's concise in his explanation of money, origins, and effect in the world. Absolutely, I agree. Great economist. Really distilled it down. Remedy coin is a black swan. He might be. That's why I never heard of him. Black swans. Small chance, but big effects. They should make a UI for the consensus parameters. That would actually be quite nice. I mean, probably like with the BIPs that you want to have activated. That maybe might be something. For example, if you want to use, replace by fee or something, that you can actually choose that. BIP, what is that? BIP 47, I think. Not sure. No, I think 47 was extended public keys. Yeah, doesn't matter. I would have to look that up. I'm bad with BIP numbers. Can never do this. Yeah. This is a report or a book. I don't know. It's supposed to be under 30 pages. I don't know. I don't think I can make that. Might be 300 pages if I really want to get all this stuff in there. Money is compressed energy. Oh, that's a nice thought. Kind of is, right? Especially with Bitcoin. It's compressed energy into proof of work to secure the network which sustains this money. Might be something to write down. Write it down, do a pull request, put it on GitHub. Let's read it. Let's work on it. Let's collaborate. So guys, this has been basically it. talking for the first time now here in the World Crypto Network about anarchy and money, about this paper. And I already have talked to many people about this, and also all the interviews that are on the World Crypto Network already. But there will be more interviews coming specifically targeted to unique topics that are being discussed and that still need to be discussed. So this is something that I will work on quite soon, a to-do list of chapters that still need to be covered. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. I really want to work more on this. It really is quite challenging and quite nice to have one mind blow after the other. You just continuously fall down the Bitcoin rabbit hole. Doesn't seem to stop. So interesting. As always, it's been a pleasure talking to you. It's been a pleasure hanging out in the chat with you. Christian Anthony says that Bitcoin is the Viagra of money, developed as a heart medicine, but became something much more satisfying. Oh yeah, quite nice. Bitcoin is really might be Viagra. Burger Guy says, nice work, Max. Thank you. And again, all of this stuff is something that came in discussion and came in debate. So I want to continue this, and I really thank you for all of your interaction. So if you have any thoughts, if you want to contribute, if you have any questions, reach out. Twitter at Hillebrand Max, and of course messages are open. So if you want to talk, just reach out, and we can talk about whatever. If you want to come on the show as well, also on the World Crypto Network, there's a Bitcoin talk show. You can call in there anytime, right? So that's fantastic. Again, do your pull request here. github.com/maxhillebrand/anarchy-in-money. And of course, georgecelebrity.com, where all the stuff is. Just uploaded all these playlists, which are much easier to automatically update. Future Money, a show with Nico, Rico, and Max. That was the first one that we did today. So lots of shows today. And here are some previous videos on this paper, quite early work, and have been continuous research ever since. Of course, Mises University, right? So guys, if you want to donate to the Tallycoin, thank you very much. I especially thank all these people that have already donated to the Purism Fund for getting the Purism laptop, especially here 0.085 Bitcoin. Thanks so much, my friend. That's fantastic. And again, all this here at tallycoin.s.anarchy. You can leave out the S if you want. By the way, thank you, DJ Booth, for making this amazing website and for setting me up again with this nice vanity URL. Quite useful. I really like it. And I still love that website. Check this out. You can have both here extended public keys, where they change every time you refresh the page. Right? Hierarchically deterministic wallets. Love it. Amazing. Also integrated payments. BIP74. There you go. There's the BIP number. They are currently supported by Samurai Wallet, I think only. It might be some security concerns with them, some privacy concerns. Need to do more research. Samurai Wallet will come on the open source everything show. So that's going to be quite interesting. And here, every time you scan this QR code with a BIP47 compatible wallet, it will generate a unique address. And here, Tallycoin does not know which address is being generated, therefore further increasing the security or the privacy of especially public donations. So, guys, Bitcoin is amazing. So many innovations, so much improvement. Hard to keep up. So yeah, again, thank you for all these that contributed, and not just financially, not just with parting of your precious satoshis, but of course also supporting the World Crypto Network, supporting us here in the chat, and being amazing all over the place. Who do we have? Oh, Crypto Daddy, Bitcoin Group up soon. Thank you for the good work. Nice to see you all again in the chat. Boss Lady as well. Cool. So guys, this has been it. This has been another episode here on the World Crypto Network, the first one of the series Anarchy in Money. Thumbnail coming maybe soon, by Nico. Thank you for doing the future money thumbnail as well. Always amazing to have other contributors in this space. So guys, again, thank you so much for joining. And thank you for your contributions, and see you on the next one. Bye, bye.